What is going on, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning to the channel. My name is Robert Richie. If you guys are new to my channel, just know I post videos every single day. So make sure to click like and subscribe button and join our reptile family. Back there, we got Savannah. She's getting the shop ready. So, yesterday I did a Q&A video, or, well, just told you guys to ask me some questions. Today is going to be the Q&A video, so I'm going to answer those questions that you guys asked. And I got a lot more than I thought I was, so I really appreciate that, guys. You guys are really amazing. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump right into it and start asking or answering. My speech is all messed up today. Answering some questions that you guys had for snakes, me, or whatever it is. So let's jump right into it. All right, guys. So how this is gonna work is Savannah's gonna be reading me the questions. She's behind the camera right now, and I'm gonna be answering them. So let's begin.
Okay, the first question is from Ryan Chadwick. Here is an impossible question to answer. I recently fell in love with ball pythons after having the unusual fear of snakes. However, the wife says, hell no. Any ways to help educate to persuade her to say yes? I would love to get my hands on a baby ball python. Have a great day.
Okay, so what I would do is I would take your wife to a pet shop, a reptile zoo, or like even if you have a friend who owns a ball python, and just let her experience that they're not terrible creatures that are gonna take your head off or eat your cat or your dog. I mean, these are snakes who are shy, and that's why they're called ball pythons, because they wrap up in a ball because they're scared of you. And once she can see it, I mean, I don't know the entire situation. I don't know if she wants to talk about them. I don't know what's going on. But from my experience, for an example, my mom, when I was a kid, hated ball pythons, hated snakes in general. And I would take her to a pet shop or a expo, and she would see these snakes and see that they're not terrible creatures, and I was actually able to get one. And that's just how I was able to do it. Now, I mean, everyone's different. Some people, like I have some family members who do not like snakes, do not want to talk about snakes, don't want to look at them, don't even want to give them a chance. So I don't know. And when it's that's kind of a hard, I mean, to educate them when they don't even want to listen to you, I mean, that's kind of hard. But I don't know how your wife is, if she would hear you out, I don't know. But that's just from my experience. I would take her to a pet shop, see that, and you can hold it. She doesn't have to hold it. Don't force her to do anything. But just so she can see it's not crazy. It's not going to kill you. They're not deadly. And, I mean, there's less snake attacks than there is dog attacks out there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just my thing. So I would definitely take her to a pet shop and, show her that they're not crazy animals. All right, next question. I hope I answered that well.
Alright, the next question is from Wicked Monkey Morphs. What ball python gene or genes do you feel are a must-have, and why?
Okay, so that's a really hard question to answer. If I'm going off of my experience, I really like banana stuff. I also like really dark looking snakes. So I like GHIs, black pastel cinnamons. That's my thing. That's what I really like. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do with the snakes and what you're trying to create. But I mean, there's so many genes there I must have. Like, if you're trying to be a successful reptile breeder, I feel like you should have pastels in your collection, inchies in your collection, lessers in your calicos, stuff like that. Common stuff, because not everyone's going to be going into a reptile expo. I mean, I don't know if you're talking from a business standpoint, but if we are, not everyone's going to be going to the show with $300, $400 in the pocket. Some people just want like a Mojave ball python that costs $60 to $80. That's just what they want, and not everyone's on that budget. I mean, now there is some people who can spend $500,000 easy, but not everyone's able to do that. So it really just depends on, I don't know what standpoint you're talking about, but if you're talking about business, then I would say a little bit of everything. That way your market is greater. But I mean, if you're breeding just to have a nice collection and you're not looking to really turn into a business, like for me, I like banana stuff. Like banana, I really like yellows and dark looking ball pythons. Those are my thing, and that's something I would want to stick with. So it just really depends on you. So next question.
Alright, the next question is from Census. I want to produce a princess diamond boa. Do you know what genes you need to have or what to pair to hopefully come out with that beauty?
Okay, so I am not a boa expert. I will say that right off the hand. So I can tell you I have no idea. all the boas we have are my dad's. My dad works with them. He's the boa dude. I am the ball python guy. So I'm sorry. I can't answer that question. I have no idea. But at the end of the video, I will tell you this. I will call my dad and see if he knows it, and I will tell you at the end of the video. So let's move on to the next question for now.
Okay, the next question is from Lex Kiefer. What inspired you to open a shop, and what got you into reptiles?
Okay, so the shop, it was never my thing to open a shop, to be honest. This was all my brother's idea, was to open a reptile shop. I wanted to do a breeding facility. He wanted to do the reptile shop. So we did a compromise. We got a place that would allow us to do both, where we can have a reptile shop and a breeding facility. So that's pretty much it. So it was really my brother, and it's because there was a reptile shop in this area that closed down. I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm not too sure, but we decided to open up the Middleearth Reptiles because there wasn't a reptile shop, and people were driving all the way to Riverside or Lake Elsinore. So we decided to open one up for everyone, and it's been pretty fun, and it's been a really good learning experience to have a reptile shop. It teaches you how to work, customer service, all that. So it's fun. I look forward to it every day. Every day is different. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you get mean customers, and that's just what happens. Sometimes you get really nice customers, and we've actually made friends like at the reptile shop by customers who come in. Now we actually hang out with them. They're really cool people. So the reptile I know I'm kind of getting off topic. The reptile shop was more my brother's thing. I want to do the breeding facility. To answer your second question, how did I get into snakes? So snakes have always been in the family. It was my dad. He actually had a corn snake before he met my mom, and my mom said, like I said, hell no. So he had to get rid of it, and he had 3 boys later, and we all, I don't know if it was in our genes or what it was, to love snakes. Eventually, Ryan which is my brother, got a Kenyan sand boa. And this is actually on my first video about me talking about it. We got a Kenyan sand boa, and I was 4. Because he's 4 years older. He was 8. So I was 4. He got a Kenyan sand boa, and that's how we did, and that's how we got started. After that, we got several boas because my dad was like, oh my god, we'll keep snakes again. So he got boas. And then we got rid of everything in 2011. And then 2015, I was doing corn snakes at the time. I wasn't big on ball pythons. I got really into ball pythons 2015. 2015, I got really into ball pythons, and I started learning about them, watching videos every day. I probably spent about 6 hours a day learning about ball pythons. Like that was my thing. And I used to do corn snakes. Like my first snake ever, the one I personally owned, was a corn snake. And I was wanting to breed corn snakes and all that. And then I got into ball pythons. But yeah, that's just how pretty much we got started. It was I don't know if it was in our DNA to love snakes. My dad was a huge reptile enthusiast, and that's why sorry for the mariachi music next door. There's a mariachi class playing, but that's how we got started. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next question.
All right, the next question is from Aiden Taylor. When did you get your first pet boa? Okay,
so I just answered the question about I'll reset. We got our first pet. My brother was 8, so that was in the year 2002 is when we got our first boa. I was 4 years old, so yes, I'm people who can do math. I am 20 years old. But yeah, my first boa. I've actually never. First time I actually purchased my own boa, or the first time I got my boa, I didn't purchase it. My parents purchased it for me when I was younger. I got a IMG hypo boa because I really wanted it, and I've never been really a big boa well, unless you count anacondas as a boa. I mean, some people, I guess they're in the boa family. So my first boa that I purchased was an anaconda back in 2016. So that was my first boa purchase. But the first boa we ever had was the Kenyan sand boa in I forget, 2002. That was our first boa. All right, go ahead.
All right, the next question is Bryce Wood. What are 3 random facts about snakes most people don't know about and you haven't mentioned on your YouTube channel? P.S. It's awesome you make so many videos. Shows your devotion to the channel. Keep up.
Well, thank you, Bryce. I would say that 3 ball pythons. I mean, if you, it's hard because if you work with ball pythons, I mean, you know about. But to the common person, um, like people who hate tubs, for instance, ball pythons to live do not need a lot of space. They actually prefer to be in smaller enclosures, just like the reticulated python. Like I have a giant cage for my reticulated python. Okay, it goes to one corner and gets all balled up in it and people think it's animal cruelty to keep them in long cages, and in my opinion they prefer it. They really do. Second, I would say snakes don't want to be handled as much as we think they do. I think they prefer to be left alone, and that's just it. They prefer to be left alone and sleep all day and eat once a week and drink water. The third fact, I would say most snakes do not want to attack you. They do not. They're doing it. I mean, if there was a snake in the room, and you were staying on the opposite side, I would find it really weird that a snake would just slither up to you and bite you. They're not going to do that unless you go and provoke it. Just like with rattlesnakes. Most rattlesnake bites is because people get too close. It's not the rattlesnake didn't come chasing after you and you're running away from him and bit you. That's not how it is. So I would say, yeah, most snakes, and people don't realize that. People see a snake and they run. But as long as you keep your distance, respect the animal, you should be fine. All right, go ahead.
Next question.
So I hope that answered your question, Bryce.
Next question, David Rollins. Have you produced any clutches so far? If so, how many? This will be my first season. I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have any advice you could give me?
I've done boa clutches before. I've done some ball python clutches before. I don't know the exact number, but I've done it. Advice, I would, just stay dedicated to it. I mean, this is your first breeding season, and that's what he said, right? First breeding season?
Yeah.
So this is your first breeding season. Expect things to go wrong. That's it happened to me. You might lose your clutches. That's just something that happens. This is all learning experience. So you might do something that's slightly wrong. The humidity might be off while incubating. You might not even get eggs. It depends. So take everything as a learning experience and learn from it, and don't make that mistake again. That's what advice I can give you. But just stay dedicated to it. Do your research. Keep learning. I like learning from people who have been doing it for over 20 years because they made those mistakes and they can teach me not to do those same mistakes. So that's some advice I would give, because first time I bred ball pythons, got the eggs died. So it happened twice, so, and you learn from those mistakes and you learn not to do it again. And yeah, that's pretty much all. I would just do research, learn from people who've been doing it for a long time. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say about that.
Alright, another question from Lex Kiefer. I have one baby female bearded dragon, and I am wanting and waiting for more of yours to come in stock. What is your opinion on having another baby bearded dragon in the same tank? And if it is a good idea, why and why not?
So bearded dragons. I used to breed a bunch of them, but I would, bearded dragons, as babies, I would say is okay. This is a mix, because some people say it's not okay and some people say it's okay. It depends on what sex you have in the cage. I wouldn't put two males together. Male and female is okay as long as you give them enough room, but you can expect eggs from that. And then I would say female is okay, just give them a bigger cage. So I wouldn't put two females in a 40 gallon. I would do more like a 60 to an 80 gallon. But yeah, see, I think it's okay as long as you give them enough room to where they're not fighting over like territory and they have their own spaces if they want to be alone. And then that's pretty much it. I don't think it's really a problem. So that's my answer to that. So I hope that was helpful.
All right, next question is from Everett Stump. What is your favorite combinations of ball pythons, and how old were you when you got your first snake?
So when I got my first snake, the snake that was actually mine and not just in the family's, I think I was like 7 when I got my first. And then what was the other part of it?
Your favorite combinations of ball pythons and how old were you?
Okay, so my favorite combinations of ball pythons, I would say, sorry, I move around a lot when I'm thinking, it really just depends. Like I like pastel calicos. I like GHI Mojaves. Um, there's just a bunch of different combinations I really like. I like freeways. Um, or I mean highways. I mean my bad. I just there's a bunch of just combinations I really love. Um, one that I really do like that I don't see a bunch of is black pastel champagnes. Now I have a black pastel champagne. I've showed it on my videos, and I really love it. I think it's a really good combination. It just champagne, like I said, is a very powerful gene. So when you mix that, it's going to take away a lot of what you're breeding it to. But the black pastel adds a nice dark to it, and so that's one of my favorite. But I would say there's a lot. But I would say I like J.J. Mojave's pastel calicos and black pastel champagnes. That would be one of my favorites right there.
All right. Next question is Mr. SF49ers. Do you ever plan on having a reptarium?
So I'm assuming you're talking about what Brian Barczyk did with the reptile zoo. I would like to. I would really do. I would like to open up a reptile zoo. But that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of overhead to have. That's especially because it's only our family doing the reptiles right now, so we would have to hire people, obviously, because we want those animals in the best care that possible that we can give them. So I mean, eventually I probably would. Probably not in the near future, but definitely I wouldn't rule anything out. I think I would totally have my own reptile zoo. I think that would be super fun adventure to go for.
Alright, next question is from Angela Conley. How long have you been breeding, and how long have you had the shop?
The shop we opened in March 6, 2016. That was the first day that we were open to the public. So it's almost 3 years. We're like 2 years and 11 months. 2 years, 2 years and 11 months. So almost 3 years. You can say 3 years. And then how long have I been breeding? I've been breeding, like I said, we first started when I was younger. So 2008, 2009, somewhere like that. And then we got rid of all of our stuff because we were just too busy to take care of the animals, and we didn't want to have animals if we couldn't give our full time to it, because now it's our full-time job, so now we can actually give them the care they need, but back then we weren't able to, so we sold most of them. I think we kept a couple, but we got rid of about 95% of our snakes. So I would, if you're, because we did take a long break, so I would say about 5-6 years we've been breeding for.
Alright, another question from Lex Kiefer is, when will you do more giveaways?
Okay, so the giveaways, people ask, are you the guy who did the giveaways and all that? And the answer is yes. It was, so pretty much, I've been wanting to make a video on this topic. When I had another account, and I really wanted to do giveaways, but then every video I was saying, and maybe it was my fault, I was saying, giveaway for this, giveaway for that, and, if you subscribe, you're entered, blah, blah, blah. It made me really not like doing YouTube videos, because I was like, people aren't really watching for my content. They're watching to win these giveaways, because every comment I would get would be these giveaways. I mean, sure, there were some people who actually liked my content, but I would say about 80% of people just want to watch my stuff for giveaways. Now, and I did call a winner. He never got back to me about the ball python he won. So I ended up never giving it away. And then after that, people got mad because I didn't show them. Everyone thought I was lying that I didn't call the winner. So everyone was, they said it was some guy from like Thailand or something that won. But I don't think people understand that you can actually have the same username on YouTube. So just because, I forget what the name was, but there's someone, let's say anyone can make a channel called Middleearth Reptiles and post the same stuff. It's the same title, it's the same name, and you could do it with Brian Barczyk, you could do it with anyone. I don't know if there'll be a lawsuit or anything, but people can have, the same username. So, and I just got fed up with it, because I was like, okay, well, people got mad about that one, so now I got to do another giveaway, and I ended up canceling it. I canceled it. I got rid of that YouTube channel because it was like no one's watching it for my content. They're watching it just because they want to be they want to win the giveaway, and it just took away from me. And when people didn't win, they unsubscribed, and it was just like, I don't know. I ended up not doing it. Now I might do more giveaways in the future, definitely. But for right now, I'm gonna hold off on it because I just really want to make content that people want to watch, and they don't just subscribe to me for giveaways. Because if I do giveaways, it'll be a random giveaway, and I won't announce it. So I would say, it'll be like a 24-hour giveaway. Whoever subscribed, comment, and you win the giveaway. I'm not gonna advertise as much as I did, which was probably my fault. But yeah, people weren't really watching it for me. They were watching it for the giveaways. So I'm just taking a break from that right now. I just want to make content that you guys like watching, and that's pretty much it. So yeah.
All right. Next question is from Ziki Worldwide. Pythons. Do you sell incubators?
Do we sell incubators? We do not at the moment. I actually think I'm gonna start custom making incubators and selling them, because I just think it would be kind of cool to do, and I like building stuff. I think that's fun. So I might build some incubators for people, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So right now at the moment, we do not sell any incubators.
All right. The next question is from Stone Squatch 420. What are the top 5 most popular ball python morphs you sell?
We sell a lot of bananas, pastels, Mojaves, calicos. I don't know what the top 5 is, but I'm just naming what we sell a lot. GHI is a good seller. Pinstripe's a good seller. There's just a bunch of stuff that's good seller. I don't know exactly what's my top 5, but those are probably one of our good sellers that people buy at the reptile shows.
All right. Last but not least, question from Lori Minnick. Why the name Middleearth Reptiles?
Middleearth Reptiles. What a good way to close. Middleearth Reptiles. The reason why the name for Middleearth Reptiles, a lot of people think it's because I haven't watched Lord of the Rings, but I guess there's this place called Middle-earth, and that's not at all why we named it Middleearth Reptiles. We were coming up, so it was actually a family meeting. It was me, my mom, my dad, my brother. We were all sitting at the table, and we were talking about names for the store because I think we already got this place. We were just thinking about names, and I wanted to name it something stupid like Asylum Reptiles or something. Just something really cool because I was a little younger at the time, and I just thought it'd be cool. I think Ryan wanted to name it Venom or something like that, but it made no sense because we weren't selling any venomous snakes or anything, so it made no sense to do that. And then Dad was like, what about Middle-earth? And I was like, that sounds like a decent name, we could think about it. And 2 days later we were like, yeah, let's go with Middle-earth Reptiles. But that's pretty much how that started. And the reason why he said it's Middle-earth, I don't know if this will make sense. It made sense to me, but I don't know if it'll make sense me explaining it. He might have to explain it. Middle-earth, so he said the reptiles are the ancestors of reptiles are dinosaurs, and the bones are in the middle of the earth. You have to dig them up. So that's why he decided to name it Middle-earth Reptiles, because these are like the great grandchildren of the dinosaurs. So that's why he decided to make it Middle-earth. I don't know if that makes sense. It made sense to me. But we actually are going to answer one more question if I can. I'm going to go ahead and give my dad a call, and I will get back to you about that one question about the boa, because I'm not a boa expert, but I will try to get back to you. So I'm gonna call him right now, so give me 1 sec. Going back to the boa question from Census, he wants to know how to make the Princess Diamond boa. So I talked to my dad, and he actually said that Jeremy Stone was big on doing them 4 or 5 years ago, I believe. And pretty much all he said is it's a fire diamond bred to a fire diamond, and that's how you get, because you get the leucistic Princess Diamond. So that's what he said. Like I said, I'm not a boa expert, so I'm just saying what my dad said. He works with the boas, and he knows Jeremy Stone personally. So if you guys don't know, Jeremy Stone is really, really huge on doing boas. So yeah, that's pretty much how you make it. So I hope that answers your question. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I hope this video was entertaining. It was actually fun for me because I've never done this before, so it was something new for my channel. So it was really cool, and you guys are really awesome, because I didn't think I was gonna get. I thought I was gonna get maybe 2-3 questions, but I got like 15 to 16. I don't know, however many it was. It was pretty awesome. So I really appreciate you guys. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Take care.